Hi besties, before we get started here really quick, I want to address this. I might sound tired in this video. It's because I am. I have been messing up my sleep schedule even more, which is my own fault, and today, when I'm recording this, Thursday, November 13th, when the Pokopia extended trailer dropped, I got my COVID booster, and I will not be taking any comments about vaccines. With that being said, let's talk about the Pokopia release trailer. It is another random Thursday when Nintendo decided to drop an announcement. Technically, this came from the Pokemon Company. The footage that you're going to be seeing here of the trailer is from the Pokemon Company's YouTube channel, which has embedded closed captions in it. There's nothing I can do about that. Right off the bat here, I love the vibes of the land that we're kind of dropped into. We do see a few things from the teaser that was in the September Direct, which makes sense, except this trailer is much more fleshed out. We are essentially going to be doing requests for Professor Tangrowth, who is a stand-in for Professor Oak, or any of the other professors in the Pokemon universe, or Tom Nook if you're more familiar with Animal Crossing like I am. To preface this here before we dive even deeper, I don't have a whole lot of experience with the Pokemon franchise games as a whole. I played Pokemon Go. I know that's not the same thing. I played older Pokemon games, I think on the Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color, but I don't remember them that much. However, this is completely different. It's the Pokemon version of Animal Crossing, and I guess like Dragon Quest Builders, according to some people. I'm also not familiar with that game. A lot of people have taken issue with the Ditto turned human thing, and I kind of get it, I guess, but also like I think that human Ditto is adorable. I like that there's a differentiation between the boy and the girl just purely based on hair. I'm assuming that you can just change up your hairstyle to be whatever you want, like it doesn't matter. It's probably like gender neutral, much like things are in Animal Crossing. Interestingly enough, we are starting out on a post-apocalyptic looking land. I almost want to call it an island, and I think they do refer to them as islands as we get further into the trailer. It does remind me sort of the prologue to New Horizons, where you're just dropped on like a deserted island, except it's not completely like barren and dead. I love how we can learn moves from Pokemon that are going to be able to help us as we build things up, and that the Pokemon themselves can actually assist us with building. Mechanics like these remind me a lot of the companion abilities in Hello Kitty Island Adventure, how you can make somebody from the Sanrio cast in the game your companion, and each of the companions have different abilities. Like for example, with Hello Kitty, anything that you cook, you'll get an extra one. Tuxedo Sam will sometimes give you extra items when you buy things from the shop. Keroppi makes it easier for you to catch critters, etc. The ability to also transform into Pokemon, because we are going to be a Ditto, is going to make it much easier for traveling. They specifically mention that if you transform into a Lapras, you can then use the swimming abilities to travel quicker to other islands, and it will also help the Ditto with being able to swim, because Ditto as a Pokemon is not really able to swim that well. You can also use the different abilities from the Pokemon, such as Squirtle's water gun, to do things around the world and make them easier for you. I love that everything seems to be done by hand yourself. There's no going through menu hell trying to make things that are infrastructure, such as bridges. We actually see the player Ditto build a bridge themselves literally over water. I also love that there are different aesthetics that we can go with. While a lot of people might like the deserted island sort of looking thing, I might go for something more of a town vibe. They did show that in the game. You can build up to make a town, or you could go with various different looking sets and landscapes. I love that you can have Pokemon help you build houses. This really seems like a collaborative effort between you and the Pokemon, as well as you and anybody that you play with in multiplayer. They didn't say anything in the trailer about if it supports game chat or the webcam. I'm sure that that is fit to be seen later on as we get closer. By the way, I don't think I mentioned this at all, but they did announce that the game is coming out on March 5th, 2026, so we do have an actual release date. I love that friends can help you build houses and do things too. You're not just going to be waffling around doing nothing, much like you are in New Horizons. There's really nothing to do in multiplayer in that game, and I'm glad that they're giving people an incentive to play with multiplayer. multiplayer. It seems that we are going to have an ongoing story potentially happening here. I am wondering what happened to the human and the Pokemon that used to live in this world, as Professor Tangrowth does say that there were a lot of creatures that inhabited the space, but they're all gone. Right off the bat, you can see that we can farm crops. I believe we can also grow trees and things like that, as well as, of course, craft items. I'm hoping that they handle crafting recipes better than Nintendo did in New Horizons. The requests that we're going to be doing for Pokemon lie mainly in making habitats for them to be able to live in, and I think that that's how we're going to be able to learn the various moves from them to be able to help us do what we need to do. I don't know if they're going to have bulk crafting from the start. I didn't notice it. If one of you guys did, please let me know in the comments. I haven't really seen anything about it online. However, we do know that we can change our appearance as we unlock things. It looks like that we might be able to obtain items either by doing quests or maybe getting them from a shop. So there might be some element in that we do buy clothing. We may also buy furniture. Some of the room designs that they showed were really cute. They had different aesthetics going on, which I enjoy. I always like a game where there's multiple different styles of furniture to choose from. Maybe some of them are tied to events or things. I'm hoping that it's not going to be too much of a real-time thing like it is with New Horizons, and to an extension Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Even though that game has its own day-night cycle, there are events that are locked to the server. You're going to have to connect to the game servers or Nintendo servers or whatever in order to download updates and to use Nintendo Online, because of course, like we said earlier, there are going to be multiplayer opportunities. The habitats themselves look like they may rely on environmental factors, but also the items that you place down. We saw a Machamp using a punching bag and other Pokemon doing things and using various items. They specifically showed that if you placed a stool and a fishing rod on a dock or near the water, then a Magikarp would spawn, or I guess want to like hang out there and live there. It said that the habitats are going to be like attuned to the Pokemon's individual personalities, and that's how you can get a lot of Pokemon to come visit you. I don't know if that means like the actual individual Pokemon themselves, or if it's specifically going by the type of Pokemon that they are. For example, water type obviously would want more things near the water, and you could get more of them to show up. I'm leaning more toward the habitats having to do with the individual Pokemon personalities, like the trailer said. I'm taking that very literally. I like that there are different lands that you can visit. I'm assuming that that is to have the Pokemon more spread out, maybe to help with frame rate and performance, but also make the world feel more diverse. The only thing that bothered me about this trailer is the announcer. I felt like I was being talked to like a toddler. She was too cutesy, too slow. I genuinely felt like she was talking to children, and I get it. It's a kid's game technically, but also a lot of adults that I know play Pokemon games, and a lot of adults that I know play Animal Crossing. I'm one of them. That aside though, the overall vibe that I'm getting is really making me excited for this game. I know that the main backlash that people are giving to the Pokemon Company and Nintendo is that it's going to be a game key card instead of like a physical cartridge with all of the game data on it, and that's making people not want to buy it, and they're harassing Nintendo devs to not have it released as a game card. I don't think that's going to do anything. Please don't harass game developers, guys. It's not their fault. They're probably taking orders from higher ups. I'm wondering if it's going to be like New Horizons though, in that you can only have one save per console. I'm hoping it won't, but again, they didn't say anything like that. And it also looks like we're going to be starting out with the same layout regardless of how many new games you start. Similar to Hello Kitty Island Adventure, how Friendship Island is the same across all saves. I don't think that they're going to be giving us a choice of maps, but the ability to terraform stuff is obviously very helpful. We saw the Ditto breaking cliffs. I don't know if we can build them. We saw them making water, I think, obviously using Squirtle's water gun and building bridges and stuff to get over it. Finally, though, we have a new few subtypes of Pokemon that were introduced, or I guess like variants. A Moslax, which is a new version of a Snorlax, a Pikachu, I believe, which is this game's new version of a Pikachu, a Smearguru, which is a Smeargle variant, and of course Professor Tangrowth, which is a Tangrowth variant. I'm sure that they're going to release more variants of Pokemon as time goes on and as we learn more about the game, and potentially also in future updates. Another thing that I'm worried about, well, not worried, but but like wondering about and also I guess worried is DLC. Are we going to have paid DLC here? Because if you guys recall correctly, they released the Legends ZA DLC before the game came out, and it was a paid DLC. I'm hoping that the updates to this are going to be free, or if there are DLC packs, it won't like lock Pokemon behind paywalls. I think that would really suck. I don't know how DLC has worked in any other Pokemon games because like I said back at the beginning of this, I'm not really versed in any of the Pokemon games, but I am hoping that they're going to make this more user and economically friendly by not having a lot of paid DLC, or maybe doing like one big paid DLC optional thing like we have with Happy Home Paradise and New Horizons. I feel like I touched a lot on the broader points of this trailer. Again, please let me know what you guys think of this if you're excited about it. Maybe also let me know if I missed something because I'm sure I did. Regardless though, let me know what you guys think of Pokopia. Are you going to buy it day one? I am going to pre-order it whenever I get a Switch 2, so it will download on day one, and there will of course be gameplay footage on this channel. We are going to do Let's Plays. This trailer was very long. I tried to take notes, but I wasn't as detailed as the New Horizons update trailer. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments, feedback, and suggestions down below. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!